The camera caught the person walking away from Jennifer Kesse's car. One frame, then another, then another. The person was there. The car was there. The footage was real. But every time the camera should have shown the one thing investigators needed most, a fence post blocked the view. The face was hidden, not once, again and again, at the exact moments that could have changed everything. Jennifer's car had been abandoned about a mile from her home. Someone had driven it there. Someone had parked it. Someone had stepped out and walked away. And that person was captured on CCTV. But almost 20 years later, no one has been publicly identified from that footage. That is what makes this case so frustrating. The camera did not completely fail. It almost worked. It saw the person connected to Jennifer's car. It recorded the walk. It captured the clothing. It gave investigators a height range, but it did not give them a face. And without that face, the question remains the same. Who parked Jennifer Kesse's car? And what did that person know about the morning she vanished? By the end of this story, you will understand why Jennifer Kesse's disappearance became one of America's most painful missing person cases, why a few seconds of CCTV footage still haunt her family, and why new technology may still be the key to a case that has refused to close. But before the camera captured that unknown person walking away, Jennifer's life had looked ordinary, structured, and full of promise. Jennifer Joyce Kesse was 24 years old. She lived in Orlando, Florida. She had graduated from the University of Central Florida. She worked in finance. She had recently bought her own condo at Mosaic at Millennia. She was young, independent, hardworking, and close to her family. Her parents, Drew and Joyce Kesse, knew their daughter's habits. Her boyfriend, Rob Allen, knew her routines. Her friends knew she was careful. Jennifer was not the kind of person who disappeared without contact. She checked in. She stayed connected. She paid attention to her surroundings. And that is one reason her disappearance was recognized so quickly. Because when Jennifer's routine broke, the people who loved her knew almost immediately that something was wrong. A few days before she vanished, Jennifer had returned from a trip to St. Croix with Rob Allen. She came back to Florida. She returned to her condo. She went back to work on Monday, January 23, 2006. Nothing about that day sounded like a goodbye. After work, she spoke with her parents. Later that night, she spoke with Rob. That phone call ended around 10 o'clock. It was the last known contact anyone had with her. The next morning, January 24th, Jennifer was expected at work. She had responsibilities. She had plans. She had a normal weekday ahead of her, but she never arrived. The first warning sign came quietly. Rob did not receive his usual morning call or message from Jennifer. At first, it may have felt like a small delay. People get busy, phones lose signal. Mornings change, but then Rob called her. The call went to voicemail. He called again, voicemail again. Then Jennifer's workplace noticed she had not shown up. That was not like her. Her employer contacted her family, and very quickly, a missed call became something much more serious. Drew and Joyce Kesse began driving toward Jennifer's condo in Orlando. As parents, they were hoping for an explanation. Maybe she was sick. Maybe she had misplaced her phone. Maybe there was some simple reason she had not answered. But when they reached her condo, the scene did not make the case clearer. It made it more confusing. Jennifer's home looked like she had started her day. There were signs she had showered, a damp towel, items in the bathroom, clothes out, the kind of ordinary details that suggest someone had woken up, gotten ready, and expected to leave for work. But Jennifer was gone. Her purse was missing, her keys were missing, her phones were missing, her iPod was missing, her car was gone too. The condo did not look like the home of someone who had packed to vanish forever. It looked like the home of someone who had prepared for work and planned to come back. That detail matters, because investigators had to ask where the danger began. Did something happen inside the condo? Did Jennifer leave safely and meet someone outside? Was she approached in the parking area? Did someone wait for her? Or was she taken before she had the chance to reach the normal safety of her day? At that moment, the case had no answer, only absence. No Jennifer, no car, no call, no clear sign of where she had gone. Then 2 days later, the case changed. Jennifer's 2004 Chevy Malibu was found at another apartment complex called Huntington on the Green. It was about a mile from her home. The car had not been hidden deep in woods or left far away in another city. It was nearby, close enough to suggest the person who left it may have known the area. The discovery of the car answered one question. Jennifer had not simply driven away with it. Someone else had moved it. Someone had driven it to Huntington on the Green. Someone had parked it. Then someone walked away. And that is where the CCTV footage entered the case. A security camera at the complex had captured the car being parked. Then it captured a person walking away from the vehicle. At first, this should have been the breakthrough. The person connected to Jennifer's car was on camera. Investigators had the footage. They had movement. They had clothing. They had a direction of travel. But the camera system did not record smooth video. It captured images in intervals. And as the person walked past a fence, the posts blocked the face at the worst possible times. Frame after frame, the person moved. Frame after frame, the chance to identify them slipped away. The footage was close enough to hurt. It showed the person, but not clearly enough. Investigators studied it. They looked at height. They looked at clothing. They looked at the stride. They looked at the way the person moved away from the car. Detective Joel Wright later said investigators measured the camera angles and had people of different heights walk past the same area to compare. The person was estimated to be between 5'3" and 5'5". Some described the clothing as possibly work clothing, maybe the kind worn by a painter or someone doing labor. But still, there was no name, no face, no positive identification. The footage became one of the most painful pieces of evidence in the case. Because it was not useless. It was almost useful enough. That is what makes it so hard to ignore. The person who parked Jennifer Kesse's car may have been right there on screen. But the one detail that could have given Jennifer's family an answer was hidden by a fence. Technology was brought in to help. NASA was contacted to assist with enhancing the footage. Investigators hoped that clearer images might reveal what the original video could not. But even with help, the image did not produce a confirmed identity. The person remained unknown. The footage remained unresolved, and Jennifer remained missing. But the CCTV was only one piece of the investigation. Attention also turned back to Jennifer's condo complex. Mosaic at Millennia was undergoing renovations around that time. Workers were present in the area. Some vacant units were being used. Jennifer had reportedly told her family she felt uncomfortable around some of the workers. That detail became one of the major directions people have examined over the years. Could someone working in or around the complex have seen her routine? Could someone have known when she left for work? Could someone have waited near her car? Could the person in the CCTV footage have been connected to the work being done nearby? These questions remain part of the case, but suspicion is not proof, and no one has been convicted. That is important. In true crime, it is easy to let fear fill in the missing pieces. But Jennifer's case deserves better than guesses dressed up as certainty. Investigators had to work with evidence, and the evidence was difficult. Jennifer's own condo complex did not have useful surveillance cameras installed at the time. That meant there was no clear video of the moment she left her building. No camera showing whether she reached her car. No camera showing whether someone approached her. No camera showing the actual moment the case began. Visitor records at the property were also incomplete, and Jennifer's condo was not preserved as a clean investigative scene in the way police would later need. Family members and friends had gathered there while everyone was searching and hoping she would be found. That was human. That was understandable. But it also meant the scene could not give investigators everything they needed later. Those early hours mattered. Every missing person case depends on time. The first calls, the first searches, the first interviews, the first look at the last known location. And in Jennifer's case, some of the most important answers were already difficult to reach. Still, Drew and Joyce Kesse never stopped pushing. For Jennifer's family, this case did not become old. It became daily life. They searched, they spoke publicly, they raised awareness, they challenged agencies, they asked for access, they fought for information. Eventually, the Kesse family sued to obtain access to Jennifer's case files from the Orlando Police Department. The department later turned over thousands of pages of documents and many hours of video and audio. The family and their investigators began reviewing what had been collected. They were not just reading paperwork. They were searching for missed chances, missed names, missed interviews, missed evidence, missed connections.
Imagine being a parent and watching the same blurry footage year after year, knowing that the person walking away from your daughter's car may hold the answer, knowing the camera came close, knowing the face was hidden at the exact wrong second, and still having to wake up every day without knowing where your daughter is. That is the emotional weight of this case. It is not only a story about CCTV, it is a story about a family trapped between evidence and silence. Jennifer's parents have had to live with questions most people could not carry for a week. Where is she? Who took her? Was she targeted? Was it someone nearby? Was it someone who saw her routine? Did the person on the video know they were being recorded? Did they know how close the footage came to exposing them? Years passed. The case remained open. In 2016, Jennifer was declared legally dead. But legally dead does not mean forgotten. It does not mean solved. And for her family, it did not end the search. The case later moved into another phase. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement became involved. Evidence was reviewed again. Technology improved. New testing became possible. And in 2025, there were reports of renewed movement in the case. Investigators were said to be re-examining DNA evidence. Reports also said investigators were using newer tools, including artificial intelligence, to look again at the surveillance footage. One area of focus was not only the hidden face, it was something much smaller, a detail connected to the person's ear. That matters because sometimes modern investigations do not move forward through the largest clues. Sometimes they move through details earlier technology could not use: a partial image, a body measurement, a movement pattern, a small visible feature that once seemed meaningless. Nearly 20 years later, the footage may still have something to give, but hope is not the same as closure. Until Jennifer is found, until a person is publicly named, or until evidence finally answers what happened, on January 24, 2006, the case remains open in the most painful way. Jennifer Kesse woke up for work and never arrived. Her condo looked like she had started an ordinary morning. Her belongings were missing. Her car was gone. Then the car appeared 1 mile away, and the person who left it was captured on camera, hidden by a fence at the exact moment the truth might have become visible. That is why the CCTV footage still matters. It did not solve the case, but it came close enough to keep the question alive. Did the camera fail Jennifer, or did it capture the answer in a form technology has not fully unlocked yet? Before you leave, think about the details. The missed morning call, the condo that looked like she had gotten ready for work, the abandoned Chevy Malibu, the person walking away from the car, the fence blocking the face, the workers at the condo complex, the investigation challenges, and the new testing that may still change the case. Which detail do you think matters most? Tell me in the comments what stands out to you in Jennifer Kesse's disappearance. And if you want more true crime documentaries told with care, strong timelines, real names, and respect for the victims, subscribe to the channel. No rushed conclusions. No careless accusations. No empty shock. Just real cases, real evidence, and the unanswered questions that still deserve attention. Subscribe now, because the next case begins with one piece of footage and ends with a question investigators still cannot fully answer.